Hi everybody, it's Kevin and Ralph, and we are cooking at the cottage.
Switching in the kitchen.
That's right. And so tonight we are going to have turkey, one of Ralph's faves. And to go with the turkey, we're going to do some mushroom risotto. So we've got a few things prepared. We've got about 4 cups of hot chicken broth. So it's already heated.
Is that for the risotto?
For the risotto, which you should always use hot broth, not cold broth. We got about 1.5 cups of arborio rice. That's the rice that we use when we make risotto. And we've even got an ant, part of cottage living.
Murderer.
We have just a very small onion here and some butter that we're going to use later. And here's our mushrooms, little baby portobellos. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to cook the mushrooms first.
So this is a big pan in which you've already put some olive oil?
Put a little olive oil, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And we are just going to cook these mushrooms.
Kind of like saute them? Or
yeah, saute them. They won't take long to cook. Let me get a spoon here. Get them sort of coated with the olive oil. You know, mushrooms are like little sponges. They really soak up
the moisture quickly.
Okay, yeah. We are back. These mushrooms are done. So you know what? We're going to take these. I'm going to take the mushrooms off, and they smell awesome. And we're going to kind of just put these on the back burner. There's some water in the pan. There's a lot of liquid in, well, a lot of vegetables, mushrooms especially.
This is the pan that you're going to cook the risotto in?
Yes, that's right. So, okay, I think we got most of it here. Alright, we're going to put our mushrooms off to the side. Now we're going to put a little more olive oil in the pan. About 2 tablespoons. We just do it by the eye here. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter with the olive oil. If you just use butter, you know, the butter burns at such a
quicker rate.
Yeah, at a lower temperature. So the olive oil kind of mixed with the butter kind of helps it from burning
too quickly.
Yeah, especially when you're gonna saute something, and sometimes you kind of want that brown butter, and this will get brown, but not quite as quickly with the olive oil in there.
So tell us exactly what risotto is, and is it just a type of rice?
It is a type of rice. It's arborio rice.
So it cooks as long as rice, or shorter, or longer?
It actually takes a little bit longer to cook. Well, that might not be totally true.
Does it depend on what you're cooking with it?
It does, and the thing is that it's very starchy rice. So you know how risotto kind of has that creaminess that it has? That's because it's all the starch coming off the rice, and this rice also really absorbs. So you are putting in this liquid, which in this case is chicken broth. You could use vegetable broth or some other kind of stock if you wanted, some fish stock, but since we're having turkey, we're kind of staying in the poultry theme. So we just got a little bit of onion in there. We're going to saute just for a couple of minutes until it gets sort of translucent. We don't want them to brown necessarily.
Oh, that's got a nice smell with the earthiness of the mushrooms mixed with the butter and onion of the...
Onions frying in butter always reminds me of my mom.
Yeah, we always feel her presence in the kitchen.
Here's the rice that we're going to use. This is about 1.5 cups. And of course, you know how rice, it always expands and makes more. So this will be probably about 4.5 maybe cups of rice total. All right, we're going to put this in the pan. Now we're going to coat this rice You know how when you make rice-a-roni, right?
Yes, you kind of brown
You
it.
brown it.
Is that the idea of what you're doing here with this risotto?
So we're going to leave this in the pan for about 2 minutes or so.
As long as it takes to brown it.
Yeah, we're going to make sure it's all nicely coated with the butter and the olive oil. Mix those onions in. Okay, we are back. So we've had the rice in for a couple minutes. Kind of toast it up a little bit. So now, here we go. I'm going to actually just sort of move this next. Let me shut it off. This is our Push-O-Matic 1959 General Electric. So we are going to put the broth in a cup at a time.
Boy, does that smell good. So you add a ladle at a time, and
then you let it get absorbed, and then you
Okay.
add another ladle, and you let that get absorbed, and et cetera, et cetera. And you got to stir the whole time.
Oh, so if you were to just pour that whole pan of broth in there, that wouldn't be good?
No, it would not. Because you have to let the rice, you have to give the rice a chance to really absorb.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that's, my mom, I actually, this is a new one for me. I've not really made risotto before, but my mom used to make it occasionally. And
Did she make it look easy?
she made everything look easy for mom.
Moms are like that.
Yeah, everything looks very simple. But if you look and see what's happening, and I know there's a lot of steam here, but you can see that broth is gone.
That sure
And we're
is.
starting, you can see the starch being released from the rice.
And it's starting to absorb it, yeah.
And so we're going to put a little bit more broth in here, about another cup, 8 ounces or so. I'm not sure how much is in this ladle, but we'll, and we just keep, and so it goes. Okay, still cooking, still stirring, but it's coming along really beautifully. I'm getting a risotto facial, but it's really starting to really come together.
The aromas are wonderful.
I got to take a break from that. I'm going to take our turkey out. And this is not the turkey like you might think we're going to have turkey. This is just turkey, which I cooked earlier, and this is actually leftovers. That's the truth.
So it's like shredded or pulled turkey, maybe?
Pulled turkey. I'm going to take our heat up here on the oven, and I don't want to totally ignore this, so let me just give it just a quick stir while I'm here. Okay, so I'm going to take our bread and I'm going to cut it kind of like this, almost all the way down, but not quite.
Remind us what the bread
This is a sourdough bread.
Okay. And we're making this for
Go with the salad,
to go with the
and
salad, okay.
everything else, and of course we love bread, and could probably just eat the bread and not worry about
But you're doing
anything
something
else.
fancy to it.
So the reason I'm doing this is
It's like a bloomin' onion.
kind of like a bloomin' onion, except it's bloomin' bread. And
So you cut it without, or you almost like scored it without going all the way to the bottom? Is that
right,
the idea?
I didn't go all the way to the bottom. Now we have some melted butter.
Wait, let me get a look at that. Ooh.
Okay, so this is melted butter and ground celery seed and poultry seasoning. Again, you know what? We're not having stuffing with our turkey, but here's bread with kind of those flavors infused. I thought, okay, well, you know what? It'll sort of be like what we would expect maybe to have.
I like that. So you're just kind of slathering that mixture of butter and seasonings and what else? Olive oil?
There's no olive oil. It's just butter and basically herbs, celery seed,
Poultry seasoning.
Which is kind of, thyme and sage.
So you're just kind of soaking the bread with that, and
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know what's coming next.
Yes, and then let me come back over here. Gotta give this another stir and add some more liquid. See how fast that really absorbs. We're getting down to the end with our broth.
Down to like the last few ladles.
Yeah.
What temperature is this pan on? Kind of a medium?
It's on medium, actually, yeah. You could go medium high, depending. I could go a little higher. We don't have dials here since we're all on push buttons. Okay, so I'm going to take that. Let's put it in this hot oven. Let it toast up. You have to remember it's there. So I'm going to get this risotto finished off, and we'll be back. The risotto should be done. The bread should be done, and we'll kind of be getting ready for dinner. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, here we are. All of the broth has been absorbed, and oh my God, it smells so good. You can see how creamy it is. Again, that's produced by the starch. I'm actually going to take the heat off. We'll do a little taste. A little taste for you. What do you think? Does it need anything? Maybe a little pepper. It has enough salt from, the broth, obviously. But we'll put a little pepper in there.
Yeah, pepper's always good for a little
and
pick-me-up.
Two things. We need to add our mushrooms that we've already sauteed up back into the mix here. And the other thing is you cannot have risotto without Parmesan cheese. So I just already grated this.
Seems to me like the difference between risotto and other rice is that you can really add a lot. I mean, you can add a lot to regular rice, but risotto almost requires that you add things to it and mix things because it absorbs so many flavors and liquids and such. Is that true?
Exactly. I mean, if you just cook this rice in water, which you could do, it'd be boring. But because it does absorb so much liquid
and flavor,
there we go. Now we're talking. Check this out. It's exactly.
Did you mention the type of cheese you melted in there?
It was Parmesan, freshly grated.
You just grated.
And
we left that on the cutting room floor.
We will give this another.
How about some for the cameraman?
Okay, of course. Blow on it. The rice. What do you think?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that good?
The mushroom adds a whole other dimension because the first taste you gave me was definitely brothy, like chickeny. But that's got a nice mushroomy, rich creaminess.
And here's our bread.
Which also smelled great while it was baking there. Wow.
You can see it's kind of got a nice little toasty.
Little crustiness, yeah.
It's actually almost too hot to eat. Okay, so we got turkey. We're going to serve that over the risotto. We're going to serve the bread with our salad, which is right here. I'm going to have a little bit of this piece of Parmesan left. You know what? I mean, what are you going to do with a little piece of cheese like that? No sense wasting it. We're going to put that in our spinach salad. And this is just another night dinner at the cottage.
It's important to have salads because the food is so rich up here sometimes, and just
gotta have some vegetables.
Gotta have some healthier pieces to the puzzle.
All right. So thanks for joining us, Cooking at the Cottage, Kevin and Ralph. See you next time.